Imagine that it's the winter of 2018. This movie came out Christmas Day of 2017, but I didn't get around until seeing it until I believe early January. The Phantom Thread, directed by P.T. Anderson. I saw it at the Century 25 in Orange on Catella, right off the 57 freeway, with my buddy Vince and his wife Faith. We are huge P.T. Anderson fans. I fell in love with the directorial prowess of P.T. Anderson in 2007, I believe it was. There Will Be Blood. Also starring Daniel Day-Lewis. And Daniel Day-Lewis is the starring role. He plays Reynolds Woodcock. And P.T. Anderson had read about the fashion industry in the 50s and 60s. I can't remember the title of the book, but he had read about one specific designer, and then he was inspired to write the screenplay for this fictionalized period film, which takes place in 1950s England. And Daniel Day-Lewis is a method actor, and he puts his heart and soul into the roles that he plays. He spent a year studying dressmaking and was able to recreate famous gowns from scratch after his time spent preparing for the role. The film had a $35 million budget. Sorry if I'm tired. I rode 13 miles today and I'm completely exhausted. And it grossed $46.8 million at the box office. And this is his fourth collaboration, I believe, third or fourth, with Johnny Greenwood, formerly of Radiohead. Love his soundtracks. I have the Master soundtrack and Licorice Pizza soundtrack. This soundtrack is also iconic. It was nominated for an Academy Award. It didn't win. There's over 90 minutes of music in this soundtrack for this film, and the movie has a 130-minute runtime, so you do the math. That's a pretty big chunk. The film was shot on 35mm film stock, and they kind of muddied the film to give it a more unpolished look, which I like. I thought there were some very Kubrick moments in this film, specifically when they were at the dance hall in Blackpool. There was this long tracking shot that follows P.T. Anderson walking on a catwalk above the dance floor on New Year's Eve, and it's just the colors of this movie. There's a lot of bleak outdoor scenes, a lot of winter light. The costumes, it won an Academy Award for Best Costume Design, and it was nominated for Best Picture and Best Director at the 2018 Oscars, but it did not win. However, the National Board of Review said this was their top 10 for 2017, and it is considered by critics to be one of the best films of the 2010s. And I do agree with that. It is a mind-bending film. It is kind of a psychological thriller. If you could say drama / I kind of see black comedy in this because I laughed out loud a lot. And basically, the character played by Daniel Day-Lewis meets this waitress, which I didn't write her name down, and he brings her into his fashion house to use her as his muse / model for his dresses. Imagine you're on a first date and he takes her into his studio and just starts measuring her and getting all like into the zone of fashionista. So I know I've said this on a couple of other movies, but I feel like the Daniel Day-Lewis character kind of has a slight autistic bent. He's very fixated and very focused and has terrible manners. Maybe he's just not a nice guy. Is it autism? I don't know. Maybe he's just a horrible human being. There's some plots that I do not want to reveal in case you haven't seen it and you're just wanting to hear what I think about this film. It is not for anyone of the younger age. It is rated R. There was lots of profanity in the English style, but it still gave me a laugh. He is just so rude and crude sometimes. The Reynolds Woodcock character, it is like shockingly funny. And it just kind of follows his life through this point in time where he meets this woman and follows their relationship. And I told my wife, I said, this is like our marriage. fighting all the time and having disagreements. This movie hits home, and it's too real. You shouldn't watch it unless you want to get upset. And she has not seen it. I watched it. I wanted to show this movie to my neighbor a couple of doors down, my buddy Kyle. He had not seen this film. He's familiar with some P.T. Anderson movies, but not particularly this one. And I asked his opinion, and I asked my friend Vince his opinion, and I'm going to reveal my opinion on the 1 to 5 scale, and theirs too as a bonus, although they are not here with me. They are here in spirit, and I will send them the video, and hopefully they enjoy what I have to say. That being said, Rotten Tomatoes, 91%. IMDb, 7.4 out of 10. Google users, they're a bunch of morons, 73%. I thought about it long and hard. I am 4 out of 5. It is brilliantly filmed, brilliantly acted. It's kind of a dark undertone. And I remember when I saw the film first time, I was expecting the story to go someplace else. And then it was just like unexpected. But maybe that's what you want. You want twists and turns. My neighbor Kyle was 3.7 out of 5. And my buddy Vince had high praise for this film. He loves it. He is 4.5 out of 5. It is in the canon. I have a DVD copy, and I can't find it, so I had to watch it on Netflix. It is streaming, so check it out. Let me know what you think. If you want a date night couples movie, this could be the movie for you. And I would love, if you know me personally, I would love for you to reach out and tell me what you think of it. Danielle, I'm talking to you. Until next time, we'll see you then.